Hello and welcome back to Getaway Day. As always, I am Mason, he is Gautham, and we are here with a Minisode. So we had a couple teams that we didn't feel like we did enough justice in the previews, or their team changed entirely and has changed the outlook. So we wanted to take a moment to kind of update on those teams. So we're going to start out with the Boston Red Sox. And before we get into it, if you enjoy our podcast or these mini-sodes, make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes or updates. Let us know your thoughts in the YouTube comments or by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or reaching out to us directly on Facebook and Twitter at Getaway Day Pod. So the Boston Red Sox, this is a team that we admittedly just didn't really cover all that much. We talked about Trevor Story and his big contract. But really outside of that, like, we didn't do it a whole lot of justice. So the Boston Red Sox did bring in some guys this year outside of Trevor Story. They actually traded back for Jackie Bradley Jr., who I believe they had traded away to Milwaukee last year.
He was a free agent. He signed with Milwaukee last year.
Okay, so he signed with Milwaukee, and now they trade back for him. Interesting move. So they gave up Hunter Renfroe and got JBJ and two prospects. What do you think of that move?
It's an interesting move. Obviously, Bradley had a lot of up and down success when he was on the Red Sox before, including 2020, which was kind of like his best season ever. Then he went out and got the 2-year contract with the Brewers. That didn't work out for him at all. He was one of the worst hitters in the majors last year with the Brewers. So maybe getting back with the Red Sox could help him. And then we know he's a great defender, so that's going to help no matter if he's a great hitter or not, because this lineup can kind of cover for having a weak spot.
Yeah. Now, if he's as bad as last year, which he slashed a 163, 236, 261 for a 34 OPS plus, that is pitcher level.
Yeah, it really is.
And we don't let them hit anymore. So can Boston have two DHs?
It would be hard to see him doing that badly again, right?
Yeah, it really would. A 163 for a major league hitter is a fluke if you're a position player. Like there's no major league player who's that bad. Like,
and if you are, then you're not a major league player for very long.
Correct. You're at best a quadruple A guy that can't find a home because he's too good for triple A, too bad for the MLB.
Cough, cough, Lewis Brinson.
Cough, cough, Monty Harrison.
He's not even got a shot at the major league level.
That's fair.
That's a different story.
But then a lot of the work that Boston has done this year in kind of revamping their team is in the pitching staff. So they added Rich Hill, Dick Mountain, and Michael Wacha. They'll hopefully get James Paxton back later in the year. He had Tommy John last year, I believe, right?
Yep. He had Tommy John. He signed a pretty interesting contract where he's kind of got a low base salary for this season. If he pitches well, the Red Sox can pick up an option for the next 2 years. And if not, then he's got a player option for a lower amount of money. So it's a deal that could work out for both sides. We know that Paxton, when he's healthy, he's really good. It's just a question of him staying on the field. So maybe later in the season, we'll see if he can contribute to this rotation. There's definitely the role, like opportunity for him to do so.
Yeah. And then on the bullpen side, they brought in Jake Diekman, Matt Strahm, and Derek Holland. So they're definitely adding some good pieces in there. Derek Holland not being one of them. Big Matt Strahm guy. Matt Strahm is also in the baseball card community. He does Strahm stadium polls, and he'll go and like rip packs at every stadium that he plays in. So that's kind of fun. But no, so the Boston did quite a bit of work to bolster their bullpen, who that for the last couple of years has been pretty lackluster at best. And then the rotation has definitely got some inning eaters there, I guess, in Waka and Rich Hill. Rich Hill's really good when he's healthy. That's kind of his thing. Michael Waka has not been the same guy he was in his early years with the Cardinals, but we'll see. But in this rotation, though, they do have one guy who stands out to me as a guy that people need to be watching, and that is Tanner Hauck. Tanner Hauck is a 20, how old is he? 25 years old. And he's basically the right-handed Chris Sale, which is convenient because Chris Sale is out with, I think, a broken rib, right?
Yeah, he's got a rib injury, and it's kind of unclear when he's going to be returning. So they need someone to step up.
Yeah, and Tanner Houck last year put up a 3.52 ERA with a 2.58 FIP in 69 innings. So he didn't really get a whole lot of innings. He was mostly out of the bullpen, I think.
Yep.
He did start 13 games. I guess he only played 5 out of the bullpen.
But they definitely babied him. They kind of had him going shorter starts and just not a
shorter
full
starts.
workload.
They started him in AAA, where he got 6 starts there. But he is awesome. He's got a 30% K rate, only a 7% walk rate. His BABIP was not too insane. Like he was effective and he was like legit. So seeing a full season of Tanner Houck is going to be really fun.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This guy brings something that he pretty much has the highest upside of anyone in this rotation, including a guy like Nate Eovaldi, other than Chris Sale. So, um, for a little example of how much I like this guy, I was totaling up the players that I've drafted the most in fantasy this season, and Tanner Houck is very near the top of the list. He's on almost 50% of my teams.
Dang. And how many teams is that?
8.
He's on 8 or you have 8?
I have 8 teams. He's on like 4 of them.
Okay.
Or 5 or something.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, are you what's his name? The dude that's in our league that has like 60 teams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess who's your guy to watch?
My guy to watch, I know you had mentioned him as well before, Bobby Dahlbeck. Kind of getting a hit in the bottom of the lineup, but this guy has massive power. Um, he cut his strikeout rate and started making a lot more contact in the second half of last season. Still didn't lose any of that power, so they're not really counting on him to necessarily be like 275 hitter or anything like that. They just need him to sit in the bottom of the lineup and drive guys in with his home runs. And I think he's going to do that this year.
Yeah, I really like Dahlbeck this year too. I do have a comp for him that I kind of came up with this morning that I'm not like terribly thrilled with, but it's a pretty fair comp, I think. I think he's a lot like Joey Gallo. Like even with him cutting his strikeout rate, he's still kind of around that 30% K rate, which is pretty high. He's got massive amounts of power. His OBP is in the low to mid 300s, so somewhere between 310 and 350 for his OBP last year, and that's kind of where Joey Gallo tends to sit.
Joey Gallo is an on-base god, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, well, so Joey Gallo walks about 2.5 times as much as Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
Bobby Dahlbeck just has an average that's about 30 points higher than Joey Gallo. So it's one of those, do you want your guy to get on base by getting base hits, or do you want him to walk? And that's kind of the only difference offensively between the two in my eyes.
I like it, yeah. Definitely the power is comparable for sure.
Yeah. So you got anything else that we need to cover on the Boston Red Sox?
Just that they should put up a ton of runs. I think we've talked about that a little bit before, but if the pitching staff can kind of hold up, with the additions that they made in Waka and Hill, and then if Hauck takes the next step, then they should definitely be competitive. Getting Chris Sale back is going to be key. I think they can't go anywhere if he's not part of the rotation.
Yeah, that's going to be huge because Chris Sale is dominant when he's on the field. He still has that elite stuff. He pretty much strikes everyone out. He's just not been healthy for the last what, 4 years?
3 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really sad to say because that guy is amazing. But yeah, so I think that is it for our update on the Boston Red Sox. Make sure to be subscribed on Spotify or Apple or YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts to make sure you don't miss any more minisodes. If you guys like the minisodes, we'll keep doing more. So let us know your thoughts on the Boston Red Sox on Facebook or Twitter at Getaway Day Pod, or joining our Discord server and yelling at us there and tell us how we're ratchety old men that don't like the youngins. Stuff like that. So thank you very much, and we will catch you next time.